Hello, Glasgow! Thank you so much. What a lovely thing to do there. I really appreciate it, man. I've done stand-up in Glasgow for about 12 years, and it's just a good place to do stand-up. Sometimes it's shite. Worst gig I ever done was in Glasgow. It was a charity gig at the Stand Comedy Club. And I love doing charity gigs and raising money for a good cause, but sometimes when you raise money for a charity, somebody who works for the charity wants to come and do a speech about the charity before the stand-up starts. And that can really bring the mood down a wee bit. Because most charities are for quite sad things. That's just how charities work. They're always for children in need. There's never a charity for children who are fine. They don't need any money, they're sorted. This charity I was working with, it was a really good cause. It wasn't children in need, they were called Freedom from Torture. What they do is they go all over the world and they find people who have been tortured for religious reasons or political reasons, and they rescue them. They bring them to the UK and they set them up with a new life here. What an absolutely fantastic cause. But the guy doing the speech came out and he went in this 25-minute long rant where he just explained in explicit detail all the methods of torture being used internationally at that point in time. He was like, people are being waterboarded. They are having towels placed across their face and water is being poured continuously onto the towel until the towel becomes saturated with water. The person begins to drown, but they do not drown. Drowning would be sweet release, my God. The agony never ends. People are having bamboo shoved up their fingernails, and again, water is being applied to the bamboo. The bamboo is expanding. Their fingernails are being torn from their fingers. Put your hands together for Christopher Macarthur-Boyd. I just came out like, hello, Glasgow! The crowd was like, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm gonna need to say something to get the crowd G'd back up. You know, I was like, oh my God, freedom from torture. It's freedom from torture now. That guy, shut the fuck up. And the crowd didn't like it. Turned out it was mostly that guy's friends and family, as well as people who'd been rescued by the charity. So let's hope it goes a wee bit better at the Pavilion tonight. It's been nice. I've been doing this show for a wee while. Started it in Edinburgh. I've been touring it all over Scotland. Me and Roscoe, my opening night, we went up to Inverness, and we've been so many lovely places. I didn't know we had so many tourists. Do you ever see an American tourist in Scotland and you just feel looking up to them and going, what are you doing here? What do you think you're gonna get out of this? And then I was like, I had to come to Scotland, man. My great-grandfather was a fisherman in Falkirk, so... I just gotta know who he was to know who I'm gonna be, you know? I gotta discover my roots. It's like the only thing you're gonna discover is why your great-granda left. I was gigging with an American tourist in London, right? And I love American comedy, I love American stand-up. It's like my favourite type. And he'd opened for a comedian I love called Norm Macdonald, right? So I was just chewing this guy's ear off for an hour and a half talking to him. And I was really impressed because he never asked me to repeat myself the entire time I was talking, which is so unusual. Like, I'll be in England, I'll talk to an English person, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Can you say that one more time, but not like a goblin this time? Would that be possible? Or even through Edinburgh, they're like, I'm sorry, your Ouija accent's too thick, eh? I can't quite pick up what you're saying. I think I know what you mean. And this American guy was fucking... He was going blow for blow. I was so impressed. I was like, I'm really impressed you haven't asked me to repeat myself. And I went, you know something, man? I think it's because I have family who are Egyptian. I was like, I'm no Egyptian, man. I'm from Belson. He said, no, I know you're not Egyptian, but what I'm telling you is I'm used to having conversations with people who speak in broken English. I was like, I'm not speaking in broken English. He was like, this is your first language? I was like, yes. This is my only language. I don't have a better one to go to. I like American tourists. Sometimes I don't know how to pronounce the names of the places here. It can be a wee bit frustrating, I think. You know, like I was through in Edinburgh and met an American guy who was like, so great to be here in Edinburgh. You're not in Edinburgh, mate. Right. Edinburgh. I don't know why they struggle with that, because they have the word borough in their culture, the 5 boroughs of New York. That's what New York is split up into. Or even Glasgow. I used to watch the wrestling when I was a wee boy. And I still watch it. But I used to watch it as well. And I remember they done a show in Glasgow at the Braehead Arena in 2003, Mother's Day. She didn't like it as much as me. Eddie Guerrero versus The Big Show for the WWE Championship. I remember they done an advert on TV and it was like, WWE SmackDown is coming to Glasgow, Scotland. I was like, you're not going to Glasgow, all right? You've got to Glasgow, go. I don't know why they struggle with that, because they have the word go in their culture, as in, go, go, go. There's a shooter on campus. That's part of the culture. And they say it all the time. I was telling that story at the Fringe, right? And an American guy came up to me after the show and he was like, hey man, that joke about the school shootings, it's not fucking funny, man. Don't joke about that. Joke about your own shit. And I actually think that's a good point. I do. I think the best comedy comes from a kind of lived experience. Somebody's coming out and they're telling you what it's like to be them. You get to see the world through their eyes, and it's better if they're telling the truth. But then I remembered, I've got a cousin who grew up in America. It sounds like bullshit, but it's not. It's like his mum and dad were for Cumbernauld, right? But they emigrated to America and then they raised them in like West Virginia or North Carolina or something. And I remember he came back over when I was 12 and we hung out, and I couldn't believe my luck. I was hanging out with a real life American boy. Felt like I was hanging out with TJ Detweiler for Recess or something. I was like... We hung out all afternoon, we played Yu-Gi-Oh cards together, we watched Rush Hour 2 on DVD. It was a real cultural exchange. And then he went back home and I never seen him again ever, but his family would send newsletters over from America, which is such an American thing to do, to send a letter saying how well your part of the family's doing. Like, oh, Bobby made it to captain of the softball team. He's taking the team to nationals. So Scottish people just don't do that because what would you have to say? Kathleen's not drinking half bottles anymore. We're really proud of her. She's drinking full bottles now, so it's good to know she's not a lightweight. But they would send all these letters, right? And then I remember coming down to go to school one morning and I looked in the fridge and there was no newsletter in the fridge. And I said to my mum, what's kind of these newsletters? And she went, oh, I meant to say. And basically what happened was my cousin of a cousin of a cousin, his lifelong dream was to join the military and be an army man, to be a soldier. But he turned 18, applied to do it, and they knocked him back because he was colourblind. Oh. So instead, he took a gun, he shot up a shopping centre. So I can tell that joke, do you know what I mean? So... Sometimes audiences get quite tense when I tell them that, and I always just want to say, don't worry, he didn't kill anybody, he tried to kill people, he was shite at it. They were right not to let him in the army, it would have been rubbish. They're wearing red or brown, I don't know. He's getting out of jail soon, so... I hope he sees this on YouTube. Fishing out some cunt's arse in jail, like, oh... It's my cousin. Sometimes you meet American tourists in Edinburgh and they're like, should I go to Glasgow? Should I go to Glasgow? Should I check it out? And you're kind of like, no. No, really, they're very different places, Edinburgh and Glasgow. You know, Edinburgh is an absolutely stunningly beautiful city. It's an actual medieval castle on top of an extinct volcano that flows dramatically down into Prince's Gardens, which used to be a moat. That was a loch round about the bottom called the Nor Loch. And this was a pre-sewage system, Edinburgh, so people would just shite and pish in buckets and then dump it in the loch. It stank like fuck, so they drained it, and then all the nutrients for the shite went in the soil, and that's why the grass is so green. And then that goes right back up onto Princes Street, and you've got the neo-Georgian architecture of the new town, which is a lovely clash with the older style with the old town. There's beautiful buildings, you know, whereas Glasgow is disgusting. We've got some lovely buildings here, but they're always on fire. Largely for insurance purposes. And to make way for student accommodation, so it's a hard recommend. And people say, oh, people in Glasgow are much warmer, and that's true. We are warmer than through there, we're much friendlier, but I understand why that is. I understand why they're like that. It's because it's a tourist town, you know? And they've got people coming in from all over the world, and then they just fuck off again. Imagine you were a wee Edinburgh person living your life, and then some beautiful Brazilian person comes over from Brazil, you know? That's where they keep them, and they just light up your life with all the feathers and they're playing the vuvuzela. You're like, oh my God, I think I'm falling in love, eh? But then they just fuck off back to Brazil. You're like, I'm never going to love again, eh? I've had my heart broke too many times, eh? That's why they're like that, whereas nobody's ever visited us once, so every new person, we've never been hurt, we're just like a Labrador eating chips, just... I always describe the difference by using a comparison to a boy. I went to uni in Edinburgh for about 9 months, and I dropped out because I couldn't take it. But it was a boy I met, and he was Edinburgh to me. He was from Musselburgh. He was like 6'2", this guy, good-looking guy. Just like Edinburgh, good-looking guy, handsome, tall. Got a lot of tourists, this guy. Sexually. A lot of short-term leases on his Airbnb, this boy. One time he told me he had sexual partners that numbered in the triple digits. I was like, wow. But there was a coldness to him. One time he told me, yes, he had so many sexual partners, but he had a hard and fast rule. He refused to go down on a lassie the first 3 times he slept with them. I was like, wow, that is so Edinburgh. Whereas me, I was going out with a lassie there for 8 years we were going out. I met her when I was 23, and when I was 31 now, we broke up a couple of months ago. And, you know, that was an amazing 8 years we had together. But I'll tell you what, it took up a big chunk of my shagging career. Yeah, I've had a lot less opportunities to spread my wild oats and put numbers on the board. I've had sexual partners that number in the single digits. I'm not going to say what one. It's between 0 and 9. It's no 9. It's no 7 or 8 either, but I've had less sexual partners, but I'll tell you what, I remember that first night I kissed my ex-girlfriend. I was 23 years old. It was the last night at the Fringe. Me and Roscoe, my sport, we were doing a two-hander, you call it, at the Fringe, and a wee 30-seater called the Counting House Attic. And while he was on stage, I'd sit at the back of the room with this lassie who was tech, and she'd done the lights and the sound. And then over the course of the month, we fell in love with each other. And then last night at the Fringe, it was a big party, and I kissed her for the first time. And that exact same night, I put my tongue up her bumhole. And that's Glasgow, you know, so we are friendly. I like Edinburgh, man. You're not really supposed to say that. I like them. They're cool. I feel kind of bad for Edinburgh the last couple of years because I feel like don't know if you've been through on the fast train or the long train or whatever, but don't know if you've been through to Edinburgh, right? But they've really attached themselves to Harry Potter the last couple of years. You know, you walk about, it's a fucking wand shop or a cauldron emporium or a bar that sells I can't believe it's no butter beer, you know. Oh, this Harry Potter pish. And I just feel so bad because it's J.K. Rowling, isn't it? And I feel like over the last couple of years, J.K. Rowling's posted a load of quite transphobic pish on the internet. She really hates trans people, this woman, and she posts about it all the time. And I think it's poisoning her legacy a wee bit, so I just feel so bad for Edinburgh. I feel bad for trans people as well, but I feel bad for Edinburgh. Because pretty soon Edinburgh's going to have to go back to being the city they filmed Trainspotting in. It's a lot harder to sell merchandise based on Trainspotting to children. You can sell a gummy wand, you can't sell a gummy syringe. You know? And I loved Harry Potter. I remember going to see the first Harry Potter film at the Parkhead Odeon with my cousin Daniel and my nana, Roseanne. We went through the Parkhead Odeon, saw Harry Potter 1. My favourite bit in it is when Harry's on the train to Hogwarts, right? Hogwarts Express, choo-choo. Please. Please don't do that. Your audience's heckles really reflect who you are as a person. I was opening for Frankie, people were like, I hate you, Frankie Boyle. And he was like, why did you come? I just had people going, choo-choo. Please, no more train noises. Anyway. Harry's on the train to Hogwarts, choo-choo, as we all know. He's sitting with his wee pal Ron, right? His new pal Ron, who's from a lower socio-economic background, right? And Harry's sitting on the train, and the sweets woman comes down the train with the trolley, and she's like, sweets, sweets, anybody for sweets? And Ron is embarrassed because he cannot afford any sweets. Harry clocks that, and he goes, I'll take the lot, which is such a rich prick move. I think nobody else in the train wants any sweets. You fucking nepo baby bastard. He buys all the sweets, right? And one of the sweets he buys is a chocolate frog, a magical chocolate frog. It's no Fredo, right? It's a wee ornately decorated cardboard box, and inside there's a chocolate frog, and because it's a magic world, the frog comes to life and it hops around. You need to grab it, bite it, it hops away again, and you can go to a wee shop in Edinburgh and you can buy the chocolate frog and open it up, and it will not come to life, but you can shake the box a wee bit and it looks like it's moving. Whereas Trainspotting, I don't know if you've seen Trainspotting, right? Ewan McGregor stars as Renton, who is a junkie. Now, you're not supposed to use the word junkie anymore. I had no idea. I was having coffee with a boy I went to high school with that I'd not seen since I was 18, right? And he was asking me to retell a story of something that happened to me when I was 18. Because when I was 18, on the day of my high school disco, the Barnum Ball, I got abducted by a junkie. I went into town to buy a wee pair of vintage trousers, right? Because I've always been like this. And I went into Mr. Ben's vintage shop in the Trongate, right? And it's amazing, isn't it? But that day, not so much. I came out and I didn't have any trousers, but this junkie grabbed me and he took me away for a few hours. And it was quite a traumatic experience. My mum always says that she thinks that day is where a lot of my mental health problems have come from. And I always say to her, don't you let anybody steal your thunder, all right? You and Dad put a shift in yourselves. Let's not just go blame the junkies, right? But it was crazy, man. It happened when I was 18. I started doing stand-up when I was 19, right? And I've always tried to tell this story in places like the Stand when I was younger, but I don't know if I just wasn't good when I started or something, but the story never worked. The audience never believed me. And to be fair, there was very unbelievable aspects to the date. There was a moment where the guy said he had a knife, and I'm not the most streetwise guy, right? But I looked in his hand. He didn't have a knife. He had a blue carrier bag from a newsagent. You know the nice red and white candy stripe that you sometimes get? I'm talking plain blue. And in that, there was the telltale shape of a Toblerone. And I says to him, that's not a knife. That's a Toblerone. And he went, no, that's a knife in a Toblerone box. I went, oh, touché. So I used to tell that story when I was at house parties when I was a teenager. You know, somebody in the year below, like a Ross Hutchin or a Scott Ferguson, they would approach me and say, hey, could you tell that story again? And when you got abducted by the junkie, and I'd be like, yeah, all right. And I put my drink down and I go, so I was outside Mr. Ben's, right? But this guy that I was having the coffee with, he just hadn't heard the story in 12 years and he wanted to remember some of the details. So I was like, aye, all right. And as I was saying this in the wee coffee shop in Partick, a guy leaned over for another table and he was like, sorry, if I can just stop you there for a second. You're not supposed to use the word junkie. I was like, he fucking abducted me. Somebody abducts you, you can call it what you want. He was like, that language is dehumanizing. I was like, do you know what's dehumanizing? Being held at Toblerone point. So anyway, Ewan McGregor stars as Renton, who is enthusiastic about heroin. I'll not use the J word, but he's got a passion, this guy. Loves heroin. Too much. I'll say it. He likes it too much, man. He loves Iggy Pop, jogging, heroin. That's all he's interested in. And one of his pals likes it, played by Johnny Lee Miller, Sick Boy. He fucking loves heroin as well. He's got a girlfriend, and they have a baby together, and there's this horrible scene in it where they are so invested in doing heroin that they neglect the baby passes away, and it fucking drives Renton mental. He says, I'm not going to do heroin anymore. He locks himself in a room, pulls down the window, blinds, and he locks the door, he pulls a duvet over his head, and he goes, no heroin for me, and then he starts sweating it out, right? And a combination of the guilt from allowing the baby to die, the guilt of that, and the grief of that, mixed with the withdrawal symptoms for going cold turkey on the heroin. He hallucinates the baby he allowed to die, and it shows up in his flat, and it crawls up the bedroom wall like a spider like that, and it crawls along the ceiling like that, and his head spins round like the Exorcist, looks him right in the eyes, You can't sell a wee chocolate version of that, so... Fucking lay off the trans people, J.K. Rowling. You're gonna ruin a good thing, you daft cow. A lot of fucking weird shit happened to me when I was 18 to Buzzfeed. I mean, like, it doesn't happen that much anymore. I don't get abducted by junkies that much anymore. I had a hang last year. I was in a town called Perth. And I wanted to buy a 20-decker Marlboro Gold because I was still smoking, right? And I came out and they were doing like roadworks on this wee bit of the like museum. So the path to the shops, the path to the Tesco, it was like just a wee bit like that. And then there was like guardrails like that on roadworks and then a brick wall here. So it was like a single file type thing. And I was going down there late at night and these three guys came down the wee bit. And I'm not like an aggressive person or anything like that, but came down the road and they had malice in their hearts, these guys. They were in V formation, like geese. And they were coming down and I knew, I'm gonna have to say something to these guys. And I just went back to being a wee guy. I was gonna have to go, oh, sorry boys. Oh, sorry, could I just get past? Ha ha ha. Oh, excuse me. And I went, you know what? You're not fucking 18 anymore. You're 30. You're a man. Fucking walk through them. And then I got right up to them and then I shot it. And then I don't know why I did this. I didn't go forward, I didn't go back. Instead, I grabbed the guardrail out of the cement block that was keeping it up. And I pulled that out and I went into the roadworks. With all the rubble and the cones. And the boys noticed that I'd done that because it was a very noticeable thing to do. It was really loud and unusual. So they seen that and the guy went, oh, wee guy's going through the bit you're not supposed to go through, eh? Wee guy thinks he's a hard man, eh? And I've placated people like this when I was in school, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, I'm fucking crazy. But one of his pals at the back, they'd seen me, but they hadn't looked at me, right? They'd seen me, they hadn't seen me, and he seen me through the cage as I was going, I'm fucking crazy. And I think I gave him a wee bit of a fright, right? So he went, Jesus fucking Christ. That's the speckiest cunt I've ever seen in my life. The speckiest cunt he'd ever seen in his life. Now listen, neurodiversity is a spectrum. Sexuality is fluid. Okay, surely being specky is binary. Surely you're either specky or you're no specky. You're wearing glasses or you're not wearing glasses. All of a sudden this guy's implementing some spectrum of spekiosity that I'm fucking flying off the end of. Like an angel. The speckiest cunt he'd ever seen in his life. And you know something? I was. I don't think he went far enough. I don't even think being specky necessarily has that much to do with wearing glasses, you know, because I was watching this film on TCM, right, and it was Michael Caine in the Ipcress files for the 1970s, and he had the thickest, blackest pair of glasses you've ever seen in your life, but he wasn't specky. Whereas I can take these off. I'm still specky. It's an aura that some people have. Shines through the beard. It's in my bones. Fuck. Choo-choo. The Specky Express has arrived at Glasgow Queen Street. A light here for Optical Express. Yeah. It's fucking cool gigging, and I've not really done many gigs in Glasgow because I was like, oh, I'll just do one big one and we'll have a nice night. And it's cool doing it just off Sucky Hall Street, but fuck me, Sucky Hall Street. What's been going on? Why did they put a bunch of robot trees down at the bottom of it? Are they putting a tram in or something? I don't know. But it's like that everywhere. They call it the death of the high street. All the high streets in the UK and in Ireland, they're all fucked, man. You know, they're all absolutely fucked. And it's sad, isn't it, when a shop shuts? I get sad. I'm not some kind of hyper-capitalist shop shagger, right? But I don't shag shops, but I get sad when a shop closes, especially when it's a shop I grew up with. One of my pals said to me recently, Christopher, are you over the death of Top Man? I miss Top Man so much. That was my spiritual home away from home. I felt so safe there with all the Rihanna t-shirts, you know. I loved it in Top Man. And maybe there's some ladies in the crowd saying, hey, Top Man, shut up. What about Top Shop, huh? What about our grief? And I would always say Top Man, Top Shop. Obviously, they were both owned by the Top Group. But they were very different enterprises, you know. In Top Shop, it was the shop that was top. In Top Man, it was a man. You went into Top Man a fucking loser. But you bought a pair of drop crotch, carrot fit skinny jeans. You became the Top Man. And obviously we're all familiar with the jobby jabber, but I remember doing this show in England and trying to tell them about the drop crotch, carrot fit skinny jeans and try to explain in Scotland we had a different name for them. We called them jobby catchers. Because they were baggy up top and then they tapered to an elasticated ankle, but they were all baggy up here, so you look like a fucking genie. A genie whose only wish was to shite himself in public. I miss Top Man so much. I miss the changing rooms in Top Man because they were so honest. You know, a lot of other shops would have changing rooms, you know, your H&M's, your River Islands or whatever. You'd walk in, standard changing room, mirror here, wee curtain that never fully closes. Everybody can see your wee bum. In Top Man, but especially the one at the Fort, that was my favourite. There was one at the Top Man at the Glasgow Fort. It was like a normal dressing room, right? But it had a mirror here, and a mirror here, and a mirror here. So you seen yourself in 360 degrees for the first time in your life. You'd be like, is that what I fucking look like? Is that what people see when they look at me? What the? I thought I was standing up straight. I'm like, I've got a spine like the hook in a coat hanger. Just hang me up with the Rihanna t-shirts, my God. I seen the shape of my head for the first time. That was alarming. I love this room. I've never done stand-up in this room, but I'm really enjoying it because everybody's here. Everybody's seeing me for the front. Sometimes I'll do a gig in the round, and the people at the sides and the back, they never laugh. They're so distracted by the shape of my skull. They're like, what the fuck is that? People have been telling me this my whole life. I remember one time my dad was giving me a haircut in the kitchen. He's a hairdresser. He's not a plumber who just gave it a go. He was cutting my hair in the kitchen and he was looking at my head and he just, no speaking to me, just kind of speaking. He just went, you know, you've got the most protruding occipital bone of any skull I've ever seen in my life. His life, not even his job, even when he's off the clock. He's no witnessing any more distended heads. There was a guy in my school, and I shouldn't use his real name if I'm filming this, but fuck it, David Vance. One time he told me, you should get your hair cut because lassies like guys with shorter hair. I was like, oh, okay. And then I got it cut and that wasn't the issue. But I remember coming into school and he seen a short back and sides for the first time on my head and he went, oh, it looks like the alien from Alien. A fucking xenomorph, right? Worst one though, like I said, I was going out with my ex-girlfriend when I was 23 to 31. And there was a lassie before her when I was 20 to 23. And I was only single in my 20s for 4 or 5 months, right? And I remember one night, I'd just been broken up with by the lassie before last. And I was in a bar on Sucky Hall Street in Glasgow called Nice and Sleazy. Yeah. If you've never been, you need to check it out. They have a signature drink. It's like a white Russian, but they don't refrigerate the milk. Oh. It's like a Nesquik poutine. It's quite lumpy, right? And I was in Nice and Sleazy's one night, nursing a broken heart, eating one of these white Russians. And my pal nudged me, right? He went, oh, that lassie over there's looking at you. And I went, come on, you fuck, man. Don't say these things to me. And he went, no, seriously, she's looking over. And I looked over and there was this lassie and she was like... I was like, she's looking at me. He went, I know, go talk to her. I was like, no. And she came over to us. And I was like, all right, how's it going? And she went, listen, I seen you looking over. You got me looking back. I just want to clarify something. I'm not attracted to you. I was looking at your head. I was like, why? She was like, well, I'm a midwife. And we've got a nickname in the ward for babies with your shape of head. We call them fanny busters. Don't know if you've ever been on a night out, but 2:30 in the morning thinking, I think I'm about to get lucky here. And then you just end up texting sorry to your mum. Just, I'm sorry, Angela. You fucked my head up, but my head fucked up you as well, you know? I was trying to explain this to an English crowd. I was trying to explain to them that in Scotland, everybody kind of knows a few lines of Rabbie Burns' poetry. He just thought that was such a stereotype and a cliche. And I was like, no. Because in primary school, we get taught it. And I was trying to explain to this English guy an old Rabbie Burns poem, Ode to a Louse, right? I don't know if any of you remember it. If you don't know it, check it out on Spotify. It's a banger, right? Rabbie Burns is sitting in church in Dumfries, right? And he's looking at the head of the woman sitting in front of him. And she's well known in the village for being judgmental. She's always judging what people are wearing. Oh, you're not a very good Christian, all this type of stuff. But he clocks on the lacy brim of her church hat. He sees a wee creepy crawly head louse scuttle across the hat. And he goes, ha, 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 you fucking cow. Not a direct quote, but he goes, ha, 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 and then he writes this poem about it where he goes, he realises, oh, she thinks she's better than everybody else. I can see she's got headlights, but maybe someday could see something about me. And he does this poem with the 2 lines in it. Oh, what the world the gift to gives to see ourselves as others see us, which is Scottish for I would give anything to be able to see myself the way other people see me. And that's why I think Rabbie Burns would have loved the top man changing rooms, but... Even if the technology existed to bring him back to life, top man shot. You'd have to go to River Island or something. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Never mind the reanimated corpse of Rabbie Burns. Urban Outfitters, maybe, I don't know. That's what my pal said to me. Christopher, are you over the death at Top Man? I was like, I'm not even over the death at Woolworths, man. I miss Woolworths so much. I loved Woolworths. There was a Woolworths around the corner from my dad's hairdressers that I used to work in over the summer and at weekends. And I would take my wage there, an amount of money that I now realise to be illegal. Shampoo boys don't have the best union. I would take my 20 quid for 10 hours work, right? And I'd go around to the Woolworths, and it's dying year 2009, 16 years old, and I'd buy everything they had to sell, fucking CDs, DVDs, pick and mix. Yeah, no pick and mix for the cinema, just pick and mix for your day-to-day life. The most disease-friendly form of sweets consumption possible. Loads of wee plastic trowels, nobody's fucking touching them. Everybody's just reaching in, going, including sweets that should be neither picked nor mixed. A fizzy gummy worm and a white chocolate mouse? What the fuck? That fizziness is going to infect that chocolate, I can't. But I'll tell you what though, I was over in Australia visiting my ex-girlfriend's family and doing some shows over there. And I noticed that Woolworths is still going in Australia. And it's not a different shop with the same name, same font. I couldn't believe it. It reminded me of a film called The Dark Knight Rises. You ever seen that? It's a film about Batman, right? At the end of it, a big bomb's about to go off in Gotham City, and Batman goes, nah, not today. Gets in his Batcopter, picks up the bomb, flies out over the ocean, bomb explodes, everybody goes, oh my God, Batman, he sacrificed himself for us. No, he didn't. He faked his own death. He was fed up being Batman, and he just let it go over there, and he doesn't tell anybody, doesn't tell his best pals, doesn't tell Commissioner Gordon, doesn't tell Robin, who's played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt for some reason. Doesn't tell Alfred, played by the non-specky actor Michael Caine. Doesn't tell anybody, and fucking Alfred's raised him since he was but a boy. He's his de facto father, doesn't tell him, and Alfred can't believe it. He's grieving, he's sad, but he goes, do you know what, I've been a butler for fucking ages. I'm gonna treat myself to a wee holiday. Goes to the Amalfi Coast in Italy, right, and he's on the promenade having a wee alfresco espresso. Just a wee foamy, griefy coffee. Coming to terms with it. He looks over the cafe a wee bit and he goes, wait a minute. Is that fucking Batman? And Batman's like, all right. He's like, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, That's how I felt when I seen Woolworths in Australia. I was like, you could have fucking told me. Fucking old Australian guys like, was he weeping into a bag of flumps? I was like, it's fucking personal, mate, all right? I felt so bad because she was an Australian lassie I was going out with for the 8 years, and she moved over here for me, and I just felt so bad bringing her here, you know? She went for a country with Woolworths to a country without. And I couldn't offer her a nice enough life. She deserved a better life, this lassie. Like, there was 1 year I couldn't afford. I wanted to take her for her anniversary. I wanted to take her somewhere like Italy or Japan. Couldn't afford it. Instead, we went to Edinburgh Zoo. We didn't stay in Edinburgh. We got the 900 bus. Went to the zoo, back in the bus. For our anniversary. In fairness to me, it wasn't a normal ticket that you could buy. It was a special ticket. It was called Edinburgh Zoo After Dark. It was a nighttime zoo experience, and it was not good. I don't know about you, but my favourite part of the zoo is when you can see the animals. It's my favourite bit. I love seeing the animals, you know. I hate it when you can't see them. I couldn't see a single animal. They were all asleep and unlit. I don't even like the zoo. I'm an aquarium guy. Always have been. I prefer the aquarium. I think it's because I've got empathy, you know, and that's unusual. Not to do comedy about the differences between men and women, because I find it quite hack, right? But I found that women kind of have empathy in their life, the whole life, from when they're wee girls to when they're old ladies. They always kind of care about other people, whereas we boys are demonic. You know, it's not until you turn 18 and you do MDMA and you go, oh, other people matter. You know, it's... something in you wakes up and you go, oh, aye, other people, you know. So, like, when I was a wee boy, I'd go to, remember Glasgow Zoo, down next to Daldowie Crematorium? It's the only two things you can do there. The zoo's fucking gone. I would go to the zoo, right, and I'd see the lion, and I'd go, oh, wow, a lion, and then, right, I'll see you later. No thinking about the lion at all, about thinking about his life. Now I go to the zoo, I see the lion, I go, oh my God, why are you here? What's happened? He's like, I'm in jail. I'm in jail for the crime of being beautiful, you know. You just want to hold them, but they don't let you. You know, whereas no offence to any fish in the room, right, but they're no smart enough to know how shite their life is. You know, they don't really know what's going on. Like, you go to the zoo, you look in the lion's eyes, you can see him, man. You can see the lion he used to be, the lion he should be. That's Mufasa for the Lion King. He's got ancestral memories of the Serengeti. He wants to feel the blood of a gazelle drip down his teeth, and instead he's in fucking Edinburgh. Whereas you go to the aquarium, you see a jellyfish. They don't know what the fuck's going on. They don't even have a face. Never mind the concept of injustice. You could punch a jellyfish in the head, they'd be like, ooh. That was a strong current, you know. So I just prefer it, you know. I can relate to them as well. I too have lived a life behind glass, so... Tell you what, I was thinking about this stuff. Got a new business idea for a new type of zoo where you don't feel bad that the lions and the animals are being treated poorly because it's only animals that have done terrible things. You know, so you rock up to the guilt-free zoo, you want to see a ring-tailed lemur, there's a wee zookeeper, he's like, this is the ring-tailed lemur. He's native to Peru. And you go, oh, that's a sin. He should be in Peru. He shouldn't be here. He shouldn't be in jail. And the guy goes, oh, that's where you're wrong, because this ring-tailed lemur is a pedophile. You go, yes, man. Fucking monkey pedo, yes. Good. Do you know they get flat screen TVs in there? It makes me sick to my stomach. I'll tell you what though, you share your new business idea with your girlfriend on the bus back to Glasgow, apparently you've ruined the anniversary. There you go. But listen, I think I've taken things away from the relationship. There was another shite anniversary went on. It wasn't quite as bad as Edinburgh Zoo. I took her down to a place in rural Dumfriesshire, right? And do you know that way when you're like, I think I'm fed up on normal holidays. I want to go on a rural holiday. I just want to go to the middle of nowhere and get away from it all. And then you get there and you're like, I miss all of it. I finally got some Wi-Fi in this wee mad pod cabin thing that was like, now I realise was a shed. I finally got Wi-Fi and I looked up the top 10 things to do because I was so bored in rural Dumfriesshire. Number one thing, something called the Wild Goat Park, right? We drove 45 minutes in the rain into this wild goat park, and it was kind of a repeat of the zoo. I couldn't see a single goat. There wasn't even anywhere for them to hide. They just weren't there. It was pissing rain. I'm looking through this fence trying to see goats. I wasn't allowed into their bit, even though they weren't there. And I was just like, what's going on? And she was there as well. And we're just kind of looking at each other. And the relationship's over, but I read on the sign that explained the goats, I read something that will stay with me for the rest of my life, because I was reading a sign and it was saying, wild goats during mating season, they do this thing where, I don't know how they angle it, but they pee in their own mouth. They don't drink it, they gargle it like it's corsetal. But they don't spit it out, they just let it dribble out their wee goat lips into their billy goat's gruff beards, and that makes it stink, and it's to attract a mate. And I was reading this sign going, see if the goats knew the sign said that, they'd be like, that was just one guy. We don't all do that. It was a nice 8 years. We were, I learned a lot, I learned that it's, scary times, but scary times for different people in different ways. Men and women, scared of different stuff. I had no idea, really. It wasn't until lockdown, right? And when we were in lockdown together, she was working from home Monday to Friday, 9 till 6, using an ironing board as a desk, right? And I was doing fuck all. So we had different stressors in our life, right? And I said, honestly, the stupidest thing I've ever said to fucking anybody to her when we were doing that, because she was getting quite stressed out with the end of the world, right? And I says to her, well, if you get stressed out, you should do what I do. And she was like, oh, what's that? And I was like, well, when I get stressed out, I like to go for a walk. And she was like, yeah, I go for a walk. But I was like, no. I like to go for a walk about 1:30 in the morning. So quiet. Nobody's there. I just close my eyes and walk about, and I put wee headphones in and listen to music. And I pull my hood up and I just walk around, and it's like a sensory deprivation tank. It's so soothing. You should try that. And she was like, well, I can't do that, can I? And I was like, you can borrow my headphones. She was like, no, lassies can't go for a walk at night because they get attacked by guys. I was like, what? Seriously? She was like, yes. I was like, I've never heard of that. Is there anything I can do? And she was like, no. No, you. No. She was like, there's one thing you can do. There's one thing you can do if you want to make women feel safe at night. You're a guy, you're out walking late at night. If you're having a relaxing walk, or you're heading home for something, you see a lassie on the same side of the pavement as you. Nice, easy, free thing to do. All you need to do is when you see her, you cross the road. That's what she said. Just cross the road, and then you're out of here. She doesn't have to worry, are you going to do something? Are you not going to do something? You've just left the scenario completely. I was like, right, that's what I'll do. 2 nights later, I'm out late at night, walking along, listening to Megadeth, hood up, eyes closed, relaxation time, open them up on a wee side street, right, and I seen, as I opened them up, a lassie, 10 paces ahead of me, and I went, fuck, time to be a hero. Crossed the street, right, but as I was crossing the street, I seen that on the other side of the pavement, there was another lassie. I was like, fuck. Because that looks like I've seen her and went, oh, cool, go for her. But at the same time, I can't go back. Because that looks like I've seen her and went, oh, cool, come at you for a better angle, right? So I was just in the middle of the road, like, what am I going to do? And they were both looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? And that's when I get attacked from behind by an electric car. They are so quiet, man. Remember how cars used to sound? They're like, now they're like, scary out there. I don't like electric cars, man. Some people are like, no, that's good. It's good green technology. It's going to save us. But it's not. They're all owned by the same people that make the normal cars. So you pay them, and then they take the same money, and then they put that back in the petrol cars. And they've no figured out how to recycle the batteries that are inside the engine. So they just fucking ooze acid into the earth. There's pros and cons. You know, and people, but technology can't save us, man. You know, people need to save each other. People just use technology to make more money. I was reading this magazine article, right, about a woman in America. She was blind, and a company contacted her saying, "Hey, we've invented robot eyes, cybernetic eyes." So she went, "Fuck it, what have I got to lose?" Popped her eyes out, put these robot eyes in. Miracle of modern science. You can Google this after, please no now, but after. Popped her eyes out, put cyber eyes in, and she could see. No perfect. It was like somewhere between Robocop and the Terminator, right? It was CCTV-esque. But she loved it because she was completely blind before that. But then one day she was in New York and she was going down the subway system, right? And she just heard a beeping noise, like beep, beep. She went, what the fuck's that? And her eyes powered down. She was like, what the fuck's going on here? So she phoned up the robot eyes company, right? And she went, what's going on with my robot eyes? And they went, oh, we meant to say, basically, we've been bought by a bigger company and they've decided it's no longer financially viable to support the software that runs your eyes. So, you're blind again. Sorry. I was telling that to my dad when he was cutting my hair once, and he had the most Scottish dad response possible. He went, did she get her money back? I don't think that's the point of the story. Right? But I've been thinking a lot about robot eyes recently, right? Because I was in Specsavers, and to me, Specsavers, not to get too political, but to me, Specsavers is a glimpse of a neoliberal nightmare future Britain. You know, it's a healthcare thing, we're looking after your eyes, but at the same time, it's a lifestyle. They're selling you a lifestyle, you know. They're like, oh, aye, you can have free glasses on the NHS if you want to look like a pedo. Would you like to take a look at these slightly more expensive glasses, Christopher? These Ray-Bans, perhaps? Make you look slightly less like a pedo? You need all the help you can get? You're like, yes, please? Politics is crazy, man, in this country especially. There was kind of a third option in Scotland for a while. You had the SNPs, the Labour and Tories. Something happened to Nicola Sturgeon. She got arrested for having a caravan or something. I don't know what was going on. I still don't understand. Then all these weird people came out of the woodwork who were like, I would like to be leader of the SNP. And we were like, oh, what do you think about gay people? And they were like, never mind. Fuck off back to Dingwall, you cunt. And I don't know what's happened to Scotland politically. I was over in Ireland there, man. I was doing a gig in Dublin called Waylands, and I fucking love Ireland so much. It's embarrassing being there as a Scottish person, but because like they're their own country, they're independent, they've got their own money and their own government and their own crisps. We've kinda got McCoys, but no really, do you know what I mean? It's so cool. I just feel it's embarrassing, man, because they're an independent country. Obviously, they tried harder. They put a shift in. I was over in St Stephen's Green in Dublin where they done the Easter Rising in 1916. People fought and people died for independence, man. People put their lives on the line. And over here we were like, we would like to be asked if we would like to leave. And they were like, do you want to leave? And we were like, never mind. It's okay. I just wanted to be asked. Might have to fill a form out. I don't think so. It's like a drunk auntie who's like, why do I not get invited to things? It's like, it was a fucking stag do. Anyway, I was in Specsavers, right? And it's a business, man. You know, they're a salesman. The guy was like, so, ever had a history of diabetes in your family, bro? And I was like, no, yeah, my mum's dad, my granddad, he has diabetes, I think. And he went, wouldn't worry about that. And I was like, why not? And anyway, he took a picture of the back of my eye, right? And he was looking at it and he was going, ooh, don't like that. So he got another salesman guy in here, and he came in and he went, ooh, nah, I don't like that either. So they got like a real eye doctor guy who's not allowed to sell glasses. He's just allowed to like be a doctor, right? He came in, pure white hair all over the place like that, and a big long white coat, and he just looked at the big picture of my eye and he went, that looks like something called macular degeneration. You're probably gonna go blind. Maybe not this year. Maybe in 40 years, we don't know. If you live long enough, you'll be blind before you're dead. And I was just sitting there with my chin in the wee hing going, are you telling me I'm the speckiest cunt you've ever seen in your life? He went, choo-choo. Anyway, Glasgow, thank you very, very much. Can I get a round of applause for all the staff at the Pavilion Theatre? I just wanted to say my granddad died a few months ago, so this one's for Granddad. Thanks very much.